500 million years ago. The microcontinent was situated near the equator. The Western scientists called it Kazakhstania. The structure with almost full list of elements from the Mendeleev's table inside its depth. What secrets does Kazakhstan soil have? How rich is it? Natural resources are the history of our land for thousands of years.
Earth. This planet is not only our home, it is an invariable primary point of development for any science, philosophy, astronomy, mathematics, chemistry, and of course, geology. And this source of knowledge has not been exhausted yet. In fact, every day we learn from our planet, recognizing it in a new way. And every time the planet gives us something new to discover, it gives us more and more puzzles, by solving which humanity opens new horizons to explore. Today we explore outer space, descend to the depths of the oceans, invent new technologies, and everywhere, in the laboratory, in the submarine, and even in the kitchen, we cannot do anything without glass. But did you know that the greatest human invention is at the same time a derivative of quartz, which is the most widespread mineral donated by the bowels of our planet? Quartz is a mineral. Its chemical formula is CO2, or silicon dioxide. This is one of the most widespread minerals in the Earth's crust. Large number of different types of rock contain quartz, and there are also various forms of quartz. Amethyst or citrine, for example, is quartz used in jewelry. A rock crystal is also a form of quartz. Granite contains quartz crystals, and the majority of acidic rocks contains it. Quartzite, consisting of quartz grains, is an amazing type of rock with great number of varieties and properties. It can have different colors and shades. It is a hard rock, and it is rather difficult to process it. In addition to quartz, this rock contains mica, feldspar, talc, and other minerals. Basically, it is called a metamorphic rock. That is, the rock, which was formed under the influence of very complex geothermal solutions containing a lot of silica, or silicon dioxide. The process of its formation is largely affected by tectonic activities and processes happening deeply in the Earth's crust and giving out very complicated solutions. They can be monomineralic or multi-component. The type of solution, which rises from the internal cavities of the Earth, as well as its content, directly affects the types of minerals that are formed. In case of hot solutions, emerald or beryl can be formed. Humanity has found many ways to use quartzite. It is used as an ornamental stone, as well as for the construction of roads and buildings. For example, there is the Shomish station located near the Aral Sea. The station building was erected in 1905. The walls of this pre-revolutionary building still glare under the sun, as they were made of quartzite, because the terrain is literally strewn with this mineral. Once life was bustling here, and freight trains took tons of the Aral fish. Today the station does not operate. The portside building was abandoned long time ago, and trains do not stop here. But a gift that nature gave millions of years ago to this land continues to feed the life of a small village. Today, it is the quartz sand. Just like textbooks say, sand is a material composed of rock and mineral particles with the size of up to 2.5 millimeters. There are a lot of types of sands on the planet, and each of them has a unique composition and properties. There is white limestone and coral sand on tropical beaches. There is an amazing red sand, which consists of garnet particles, or black magnetite type, which has volcanic origin. Unique deposits of quartz sand, which plays main role in the production of glass, are being developed in the territory of the Aral region.
Кварцевый песок – это песок, состоящий в большинстве своем.
Quartz sand is the sand which has 95–99% of quartz in its content. It is pure quartz, but the size of the crystals is just small.
Это перспективное сырье для производства солнечных батарей и.
This is a pure raw material for the production of solar batteries and a number of high-tech industries, such as production of glass, production of solar panels, for example, and production of pure silicon.
Чистого кремния.
The formation of quartz sand in the Aral region began many millions of years ago. Once during the Neogene period, there was a huge sea basin here. Actually, the Aral Sea is what was left from the Paleothesis Ocean. Its water stretched between the two ancient continents, from the shores of Gondwana to Laurasia. At the end of the Mesozoic era, when the mountains of the Caucasus, Kopedag, Tian Shan, and Pamir appeared, the seaway ceased to exist, and the huge body of water remained, connecting to the sea in the place of the current western Siberia. The giant inland sea was located in the territory of the present Caspian and Aral seas. Mangashlak, Volga, spreading till the Moscow region. There is no ocean here anymore. And now Caspian and Aral seas, as well as Balkhash, are the only reminders of the ocean which disappeared. Once the Aral Sea, or Indaraic Salt Lake, was full-flowing and rich with fish. Aral was formerly considered one of the 4 largest lakes in the world, and its depth reached almost 70 meters. Before 1859, the name of the Aral Sea was changed several times. It was called the Sarmatian Sea, the Blue Sea, and only in 1859 it was renamed to the Aral Sea.
Теңіз орналасқаннан кейін теңіздің жағалауына шоғырланған халықтар, адамды жиналған.
And of course, people have lived on its shores since the ancient times. Different tribes arranged their settlements there, because where there is water, there is life.
Бұл елде адамдар шоғырланып, яғни негізгі шаруашылық балық, теңіз келгесін балық келеді.
At all times, fishing was the main craft in this region. The depth of the sea was 29 meters.
Біздің бала кезімізде осы арада үлкен порт болды, сол портта үлкен қайықтар келіп, осы теңіздің бар кезінде осы арада теңіз жағалауына мына арада Арал мейрамханасы бар.
I remember that in my childhood, the sea was very close to the city, and there was a large port where huge steamships sailed.
Келіп, одан тасымал, мысалғы, сол кездері Өзбек.
For example, they brought cotton from Uzbekistan. Barges also came here. It was a noisy port city.
Баржылар болды, порт болды, үлкен қала теңіз болды.
The first mentioning of the giant salt lake in the Central Asia can be found in the Arab Chronicles, in the notes of the great Khorizm scholar Al-Biruni. He wrote that in the first millennium BC, the Khwarezmians already knew about the existence of the deep water sea. The Museum of Local Lore, located in the Aralsk Regional Center, keeps artifacts from the very depths of centuries. Here you can see a map compiled by an English diplomat and traveler, Anthony Jenkinson. It is dated 1562. The map describes the boundaries of the Aral Sea at that time. There are also the fossils of ancient organics behind display glass. Mollusks and prehistoric shells of ammonites are imprinted into the rocks. All these are a reminder of the ancient ocean. The teeth and the large bones of fish skeletons that were found in the sand show that predators lived in the Aral Sea. In the 60s of the last century, the rapid shrinking of the Aral Sea began, exposing the remains of trees. According to scientists, the age of trees is more than 20 million years. By the way, archaeologists have found traces of medieval settlements at the bottom of the drying sea. Scientists have several versions about the reasons why the Aral Sea dries up. The inflow of water into the sea decreased because the water from the Sirdarya and the Amudarya rivers was used to irrigate the fields. The amount of evaporating water remained the same. This is one of the theories why the Aral Sea basin began to dry up. At the same time, there are some other nuances indicating that this is not the main factor. According to the latest data of archaeological research, a large number of monuments of the early Middle Ages were discovered on the bottom of the Aral Sea. This suggests that the Aral Sea basin has a sort of cyclic filling. Let's say in the Middle Ages it was not very big either. The water surface of the Aral Sea was smaller. Then in the 17th, 18th centuries, the level of water rose, and this process continued till the middle of the 20th century, and now it may also be filled as well. Quartz sand in the Aral region was explored in the early 20th century, and during the Second World War, there was a glass factory that used local raw materials. The company produced optical glass. But by the middle of the last century, industrial scale production was not even considered. The new millennium has opened a next era for the deposits of the Aral region. The reserves of quartz sand here are estimated at about 1 billion tons. If we talk about the period, then its extraction will continue for many centuries. This unique sand, which is to be used as a raw material for the glass industry, ranks third in terms of quality in the world. One of the properties of quartz sand from the Aral deposit is its significant content of quartz, which is over 90%, and its structure shows very serious age maturity. This sand represents the final stage of a long process of weathering, sorting, and destruction of rocks. The sand from the field is quite good in quality, which makes it possible not to perform the enrichment process. It means the sand is dry and clean, and usually we supply it without enriching. Enrichment includes separation of different foreign components such as stones and clay. Another key factor in the production of glass is the percentage of silicon dioxide, also known as silica. We have 99.4, 99.2%. And the main negative factor is iron oxide, which gives a greenish color to glass. So there we extract sand of C070 and VS050 trademarks. And now we need to separate this iron oxide. Actually, all the plants have special separating lines. Therefore, this sand allows to produce glass of a high quality, which means that enrichment is almost not required today. In other words, quartz sand from the Aral region is enriched by nature itself. One of the recently discovered deposits is located about 60 kilometers from the regional center of the city of Aralsk. In 1998, an expedition of geologists discovered deposits of loose mineral at the Sarshakut tract. Its main feature is natural purity, absence of clay constituents, as well as low content of natural pigments. In this quarry, sand has been mined since 2000. The production capacity allows uninterrupted supply of raw materials to consumers. About 50 employees work at the quarry under a rotation system.
Специальные геологические партии приезжала, делали вскрышные работы, делали эти разведки геологические.
Special squads of geologists came. They performed overburden stripping, did exploration works, and estimated reserves. Many years were spent on it. Then own base appeared at the quarry. A dormitory for workers was built here. Currently, 44 people are working on the production. The majority part of employees are local people. At the moment, the reserves are estimated at 7,300,000 tons. During 20 years of operation, we have produced 1.5 million tons. This fine, almost white, sand is running down the slopes of the quarry. Here you involuntarily lose touch with reality. This symbol of eternity bewitches with its purity and antiquity. And the deeper modern machines dig the quarry, the deeper we plunge ourselves into the history of this land. By the way, according to geologists, the thickness of sand in this quarry reaches 24 meters. Experts say that reserves are enough for about 70 or 80 years. The main advantage of the deposit is that sand is mined through open pit method, and this is a fairly cost-effective production. The development of the deposit includes the following stages, one of which is overburden stripping. This is a removal of soil from the surface to develop a productive horizon. The geological structure of the deposit is very simple. And the thickness of the productive layer is up to 24 meters. The total area is 68 hectares. Today, high-quality quartz sand of the Aral deposit provides raw materials for Kazakhstan glass plants. Total consumption rate is more than 8,000 tons per year. European companies, which specialize in the production of construction mixtures, also purchase raw materials. Moreover, quartz sand of the Aral Sea is supplied to enterprises of the glass industry operating in other countries of the Central Asia. For example, one of the largest plants in Kyrgyzstan provides sheet glass produced from the Aral sand to Central Asian countries and the cities of Siberia. Quartz sand is shipped to Uzbekistan plant, which produces glass containers, as well as polished sheet, colored and tinted glass, and glass for the car industry. Modern life is inconceivable without glass. The creators of futuristic skyscrapers, laboratory specialists of chemical enterprises, medical centers, ophthalmologists, perfumers, cooks, and military men, all of us contact it daily. For example, just look out of the window. It has glass in it. But it turns out that our ancestors started to use it even in the Stone Age. To tell the truth, primitive people obtained glass by using natural way. We're talking about volcanic glass or obsidian. People had used this material to make primitive knives until they knew about metal. Nature created glass not only in the mouth of volcanoes, but also with the help of lighting. 5 gigajoules of energy are enough to supply an average household with electricity for more than a month. When lighting strikes into the sand with such power, long hollow tubes are formed. They're called fulgurites, lighting frozen in the sand. The first glass was found in Egypt, and supposedly that was the result of lighting strikes in the sand. People began to find melted glass fragments in those places. And as people observed natural phenomena, they began to repeat this process. By the way, scientists call Egypt and Mesopotamia the homeland of glass. Thus, the most ancient glass artifact is a light green bead that was found in the vicinity of the city of Thebes, dating back to the 35th century BC. According to archaeologists, the most ancient glass samples found in the territory of Kazakhstan were made in the 7th century. This is a glass bottle of the finest work. It was discovered during the excavations at the Kazakh burial mound in the Almaty region. After chemical analysis, archaeologists have found out that the bottle was made of local sand. A tube was also found there. Examination has confirmed that this tube was used to blow glass. The bag was filled with hot air, which then was blown out. Thanks to this, craftsmen made different shapes. If you look at how modern glass blowers do, this is an exact copy of how they did it in the Middle Ages. Well, now, of course, this is a technological process. Today, the ancient glassware recipes are still kept by master glass blowers. Transparent and fragile substance, once created from sand, which in its turn had been forming for millions of years, still gives inspiration and magic. The process of glass blowing includes puffing, pulling, and constant keeping on fire for heating. Let's say if we blow a glass flask, it is not just blowing a ball shape, but we must give it a shape with walls of a certain thickness so that it does not fall apart like a soap bubble. These are the features, the basis of the glass blowing craft: pulling, blowing, and constant heating, ignition. Well, it's beautiful, elegant. I like the process of soldering when it merges. This is its color. It is a great pleasure for me. The glass flows, and we actually see this process. Quartz sand is universal. With the development of technology, the scale of its application is no longer limited to the production of glass. Given the features, properties, and aesthetic appearance, it is used in different ways. From construction to landscape design, artificial beaches and decorative aquariums are covered with it. There would be no modern ceramic and porcelain industry without quartz sand. It is used for the production of glass wool, fiberglass, and insulation materials. Builders believe that if you add quartz sand to concrete, the latter will get a pleasant matte surface. Silicate bricks, refractory concrete, all of these contain quartz sand. The natural material is widely used in filtration systems of water purification machines. Filters with quartz sand are much more cost-saving since they do not need frequent replacement. Not so long ago, the Aral region was an exclusive supplier of seafood and one of the flagships of the fishing industry. But the sea, which gave and nourished the life of the Aral region, lost most of its water space for the last 50 years. It seemed that humanity has lost a unique part of the planet with it. But our Earth is like a living organism, constantly evolving and changing. Surprisingly, everything is arranged in such a way that if something disappears in the process of transformation, then nature will necessarily compensate it with something else. And the Aral region, once famous for its fish, now has another huge wealth, which the disappeared ocean inherited to us.